Hello, and welcome to the Gifts of Wisdom Summit, featuring conversations from the authors of the newly published book, Gifts of Wisdom, Practices for Healing and Empowerment, by David D. McLeod, released last month. Be sure to grab your copy on Amazon. See the link below in this video. This incredible collection showcases 22 authors who each share their inspiring stories and powerful practices to empower and uplift. Our conversation today will be journeying from fear to love with gratitude. We will discover how gratitude can reopen your heart from the grips of fear to tap you back into your inner guidance and sense of safety that all is well, no matter what is happening in your life or the world around you. It is accessible to all at all times to practice daily to help you shift your perceptions of reality, and this raises your frequency to abundance and joy.
I'd like to welcome our guest today, Mary Jo Halligan. She wrote Chapter 16, Releasing the Habits of Anxiety, the Art of Gratitude to Transform Your Life. Mary Jo Halligan is the CEO of Vibrant Love, with a passion for sharing self-empowering wellness tools for body, mind, and soul that are transformational and support a recognition to innate self-worth, harmony, peace, love, abundance, and joy. After selling her wellness retreat in December 2023, she is now focusing more online with sharing her wellness wisdom and joy for life and awakening consciousness via her blog, podcast, and developing courses and events. Mary Jo, welcome. Thank you for coming to share with us.
Thank you, Sarah Jane, and Sue. Beautiful to be here with you, my fellow authors and interviewers.
We are delighted to have this opportunity to talk to you about your wonderful chapter in this book. Let me ask you, Mary Jo, what was the greatest gift or surprise that you received during the Gifts of Wisdom process?
The greatest surprise, the greatest joy was the journey of the collaboration, and just how that opportunity, the opportunity to be in collaboration with a beautiful group of amazing people from all over the world, and connecting with each other over the pre-calls that we had leading up. And the support from Brave Healer Productions, of the support of the whole authorship journey. It's just an incredible journey. And I think one of the biggest differences is not feeling to do it alone and to do it together, and how important that is for these times that we're living in, to really know that we're in this together and truly know. You can say it, but to truly feel it and experience it, and to open our hearts to one another and to take each other by the hand. As Ram Dass used to say, we're walking each other home. And so to me, we've walked each other to formulate and bring together this amazing book of Gifts of Wisdom. And it really truly feels that way.
Thank you. Beautifully said. Absolutely beautiful.
Yes, thank you. So, what are you most excited to share with our audience today?
Well, I guess it would be the topic of gratitude and just how incredibly amazing it is. Something that can take us from the grips of fear and anxiety, which is just really that part that is the resistant part, and is caught up in more of a limited consciousness or a limited perspective. And then gratitude is a way to cross the bridge, to bridge over, or from the head to back into the heart, and to come back into that sense of all is well, as you read out in the bio. All is well, and all is well is all is love, all is connection. So I'm really excited about gratitude as a very practical, accessible, economical tool available to everybody. We're all that special that we get to practice gratitude. We're all that special that we get to take that next breath. We're all that special that we get life force moving through our body, and we all have the capacity to meet ourselves where we are. And so I talk about the art of gratitude. And one of the key points that I'm really making or bringing to the forefront, because there's a lot of information, and gratitude has been talked about and it's out there, but the tendency of the ego, and because of my own journey, I kind of got to know the tricks of the ego and all the ways it will negate a lot of these amazing tools. You know, people don't understand me. It's easy for them. They got it easy. You know, there's all these kind of ways that we separate ourselves from what can be supportive, and often that comes from you know, from wounding, really, or traumas. So what I talk about is it's all about reconnection. So meeting yourself where we are, and then asking, what am I sincerely grateful for? Rather than going to the head and going into what I think I should be grateful for. And by the way, my apology if I've got a bit of an orchestra around here with the bird life.
They're just agreeing with everything you say. They just love it.
Like,
They're grateful
yeah.
for you.
So yeah, so just meeting ourselves where we are. So it's very, very important. So again, it's just so important in any situation. I mean, ultimately, what is self-love about? Self-love is about loving all that we are. So gratitude also is meeting ourselves where we are, and then asking the question, what am I sincerely grateful for? And then allowing that question to bring up whatever it may bring up. And maybe there's nothing initially that one feels grateful for, and that's okay. It's okay. We just ask the question again. So asking a good question. So a good question is asking, what am I sincerely grateful for? And when I take people through the process, actually, let's just go through the process now, just to give a little taster to the audience. Okay, how about that?
That sounds great.
Words can be cheap, eh? Practice is where the real transformation happens. So I just invite the audience and you ladies just to take a breath, and we're just going to ask yourself internally, what am I sincerely grateful for? And maybe take another breath, relax the shoulders, feet on the earth. And again, what am I sincerely grateful for? And closing the eyes just helps to drop again inwards, just to really connect into the feeling body and allow it to bubble up. What am I sincerely grateful for? And then just allowing that to bubble up. And we'll just go around in a circle. I am sincerely grateful for my breath and this beautiful environment that I'm in, and even all the chatter from the birds. And over to you, Sue.
I am so grateful for the relationships I have been allowed to build during this process, this collaboration of gifts of wisdom. And you are one of those relationships I am so grateful for.
I am so grateful for connection to nature, connection to people, connection with myself, because we are all connected, and distance doesn't mean anything. So I'm grateful for the technology that allows us to have the connections that we have, and for us to have done the collaboration on the book that we have done.
Beautiful. And the other element of sharing our gratitude. So for many years in my retreat, we would always practice gratitude around the table before we had our meal. we may practice it in other places and, you know, other sessions that I'm doing, but we'd always practice regardless as part of the retreat, as part of what we did. And, you know, no matter where we were at, just the transformation of not only getting to share our own gratitude, but to bear witness to each other's gratitude. It reflects so much of where we're at. And often, if I was the last, you know, around on the table, often that's my gratitude. I'm just grateful to just to get to hear and receive each person's gratitude. So there's this momentum that gets created. You know, we can have that gratitude within ourselves and absolutely for ourselves, but then to share even with one other, two other, three others. And what I love to hear is, you know, months or years later, when I hear people have taken that practice away and started sharing it with other people, or you know, got over the self-consciousness, because initially there can be a bit of a self-consciousness around it. This is a bit silly or, you know, weird or whatever, but it's amazing how quickly we can get over that self-consciousness, and then it just becomes such a joy. And of course, whatever we focus on grows. So the more we focus on gratitude, the more that becomes apparent. And that's the shift of the focal lens and the perceptional lens, that life is life. And it's all about how are we perceiving it? What goggles do we have on that maybe we need to take off, which is the lack, limitation, scarcity. And the goggles we're putting on is, oh, hang on, right here, right now, I have breath in my body. I have a body, as you said, about the technology to communicate. There's connections here. And so it's just like rejigging to see what we have rather than what we haven't. And we have access to both. One of the first bites, you could say, of wisdom that I remember picking up as a kid externally, but I didn't understand what it meant. So I couldn't even tell you how young I was when I heard it, but it was something we'll all recognize: is the glass half full or half empty? I heard that and I knew it, but I didn't intellectually understand it. So I must have been very, very young. And it's the same principle. It's the same glass, but it's how are we perceiving it? Some people may perceive it half empty. Some may perceive it half full. Some may perceive it full and overflowing with you know, possibilities. You know, we are the lookers. We are the ones who are looking and perceiving through the lens of our consciousness. And then it's the filters that can, you know, cause a little bit of distortion there. So we're cleaning up the filters, and so that we can see more clearly. We're taking away the filters. And some of those filters have been limiting beliefs that we've taken on, self-worth issues. I'm not worthy to really recognize that all is well, or there can be fear around that my needs won't be met. And of course, a lot of that can go back to childhood, and especially those formative years, how we formulated our sense of self within our nervous system, within our neural pathways, and so forth. So it's much bigger than what it may first appear. You know, it's the microcosm and the macrocosm. I love this other quote. It's like, as you do anything, you do everything. So it's a practice to really bring into daily life, and a continuous practice for life, so that it becomes part of who we are, and we just become that way. And then it's like, oh, this is just, you know, people go, oh, you're so positive, you're so, you know, and it's like, you know, it's we are what we practice. And so it is, you know, I'm sure all the 20, 21, 22 gifts we have in this book, you know, everyone is a beautiful practice, and just to take away what really resonates for you and what's helpful.
Let me ask you, I think you might have touched on this a bit, but tell me a little bit more about some of the myths about embracing the practice of gratitude that people get stuck on.
Yeah, so I have touched on it a little bit. So one of the main ones is that is about being a nice person. So we think, oh, I'm being grateful, that means I need to be nice. And so often that nice person has actually been learned what it is within our culture, society. It could be religion or family makeup. There's been some ideas about what makes a nice person, what's an acceptable person. And so when we go to be grateful, we can go into, okay, well, what makes me a nice person to be grateful? And so that takes us out of being the genuineness, the genuine connection to what we're grateful for. So yeah, so it's like, I give the example, it's like, straight away, of course, everybody who has children loves their children. However, there may be a day where your children are stressing you out. So when you ask
Yeah.
yourself, you
You're
can
not
relate to
feeling
that,
so
right?
nice.
Yeah, so if you ask yourself, what am I sincerely grateful for, and you're like, okay, I've got to be nice, I'm grateful for my kids, but deep down in that moment you're not genuinely feeling it, there's a conflict there. And so it's not gonna work, really, to try to be grateful for something you're not. So again, once you even use the word try, you're not in alignment, it's not genuine. So then you ask again, what am I sincerely grateful for? And so, and you just tap into what that is, and you just find, and what is that thing that because you could be really agitated in that moment, and just be honest in that moment. Okay, let's take I'm not grateful for all that stuff. It could be a boss, it could be an interaction at work, or whatever it is. Drivers on the road. Okay, so you're not grateful for that right now. So what am I truly grateful for? So just really, it could be a flower in your garden that you're grateful for. It could be hearing the birds, just finding what that is. And it just taps you back in to that genuineness and to that heart energy, actually, and just that remembrance. Oh yeah, I actually am truly grateful for. There's no try involved. I am truly grateful for the breath, and that I took that deep breath. Then I can just relax my shoulders a little bit. I can feel just a little bit more spaciousness and peace in my body when I did that. And then as you continue and continue, then you can go, oh, actually, I am really grateful that challenge come up today, and I had to have that really, maybe it might have been a bit of uncomfortable conversation with somebody, but you know what? I'm grateful that we both got to speak our truth into that, and I'm gonna, I'm grateful to trust that everything's gonna work out okay. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. I love that clarification. It really does make sense. It helps to be reminded that gratitude really does need to come from your heart and from a very sincere place. Otherwise, it kind of falls flat.
And it'll fall flat so much that you'll be like, that's it. That's a waste of time. It's the same as because I used to really go deep, and I have actually got a video on this as well, even though it's not my gift. My gift is the gratitude video later on. But I did one as well on affirmations, because the similar thing happens with affirmations, because people say, oh, affirmations are, they don't really work or whatever, but it's only, they don't work when they come from the head. They work when they really go deeper, and they really internally, there's an energy shift. So again, there's a process there. So there's a similarity there. But in simple, it's the difference, head, heart, and really dropping into the body. That's the most important, because that's where the energetic shift happens. And what we're looking for is an energetic shift, so that the energy can flow again. And the energy, once the energy is flowing in our bodies, then I say, when the energy is flowing, we are glowing. So we're back into that connection of who we truly are, which again resonates in that frequency, if you like, of connection, of love, of, that I'm not alone. I'm not alone. I'm not living in this separate just identity persona. I'm part of a greater life that's happening through me.
Thank you.
One of the most important things is honesty with yourself. But we are here to have a human experience. And so we can be honest with ourselves. But it's also important to forgive ourselves when we maybe step outside of aspects of what really is true for us, or something doesn't go quite right. So it's being grateful for understanding. It's being grateful for empathy. It's being grateful for so many different aspects of who we are. and being allowed to be all of those aspects.
Absolutely. And that's what I mean when I say meeting yourself where you are. So I compare it to like a loving parent, you know. This is, as we develop, becoming loving, kind, patient parents. So with a loving, kind, caring, cared for parent, you know, who's looked after. This is why our self-care is so important, so that we can attend, whether it's a child, or whether it's our inner child, or it's an aspect of us that was you know, that created beliefs about the self, or has some unresolved emotions or fears. It's like, yeah, we're meeting ourselves tenderly, patiently. We're not saying, we're not trying to jar them and pull them, you know. We're just saying, yeah, I got you, I'm here with you. And what are we grateful for? What am I grateful for? I'm grateful for the breath. I'm grateful just to be here now. I'm grateful to have gratitude as a tool. I'm grateful I can go for a walk if I choose. I'm grateful to have a shower. I'm grateful that I had a bed that I got to sleep in last night. So it's very simple stuff. And then bit by bit, it's just like turning a corner, you know? And that's what I use the analogy, you know, in the book. It's like you just it's like, it's okay. We don't need to look in that scary direction. We can look over here. And this is just as real. And we can comfort ourselves, you know, by remembering that this is just as real, if not more real. And we're going to walk over there because there's lots of yumminess over there as well. And you know what? It's very soothing to the nervous system. And that's possible as well. And we have access to this as well. And we can, you know, we can forgive, but we can also ultimately be grateful for every challenge we've had. We can be grateful for every aspect of us that has had the most intense experiences, because that actually adds to the depth of gratitude and compassion of who we get to be as we continue on this journey, and just allowing ourselves to go more lightly, to go more gracefully, to go more gently with ourselves, and that we don't have to be so harsh anymore. We don't have to go through such harsh times. And again, this is collectively on the planet, you know, that we're working towards a lighter state of beingness with ourselves. And so we're just gently allowing that more harsher inner critic, if you like, or those more harsher timelines to dissipate, and to be brought into the light, and to be brought into completion. And so nothing, this came up many years ago when I was with a group of people, just this passion within my heart and my soul that nothing is wasted in consciousness. As challenging as life can be, and as much trauma or struggles or challenges that we've been, and I've been through my own in my childhood, which I share a little bit in the book, it's all created me to be who I am in this moment. It's all created us to be who we are, and to have the wisdom that we're sharing in this book, to have the depth of wisdom. Because to me, wisdom comes from a depth. And where does that depth come from? Experience. And so a broad, you know, bandwidth of experience. And then now we're bringing that wisdom into distilling it into those gems that we're sharing in this book. Each one of us that have been precious to our hearts and to our journeying through this life, and that we're just wanting to pass on. And there's nothing so nourishing and purposeful to the soul than to pass on those nuggets to the next generation, or to whomever is just, you know, asking for them, because they're wanting that remembrance within themselves that resonates with their heart and their soul.
After all these years, what has kept you so passionate to continue to share the art of gratitude?
Because it works. And
you
it has
answered that, but it's you've demonstrated in every word you've spoken. But I thought I'd ask you that more specifically. What's kept you going?
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I'm a very practical character. It's like, go with what works, you know, give something, whether it's a yoga class, if somebody was, you know, because there's so many different styles of yoga. I'll just use that as an example, and it can be really challenging for people, because from my heart, I want people to always have a very supportive experience, because again, I'm passionate about yoga, because again, it has supported my life and transformation, and to, create balance and harmony and all the rest of it. And so I'm really passionate that people have a positive experience with it. But I'm also aware that the way we teach yoga in the West, there's a wide array of people coming to the classes, and that yoga style is not going to be perfect for everybody in that class. But what I share with people is like, you're in the right class, or you're in the right gratitude practice, or you're in the right wisdom practice of this book when you get to the end and you put it into practice, and hopefully put it into practice a few times, because it takes a little bit just to get the momentum going. But even after the first time, and I'm using yoga just to give a different kind of example, but you get to the end of the class, or you get to the end of the practice, and you're like, oh, I'm so glad I went to that class. I'm so glad I gave that practice a go. I'm so glad, because I can just I feel the benefits. I feel the shift. I feel the benefits. And to me, the proof is in the pudding, as they say, it's like, it's in the experience. And really, again, it's experiential. We are experiential beings, truly, truly, truly. And that's what we're getting back to, is coming back to trusting ourselves and trusting the feeling body. And when there's layers of distrust there, that has created a lot more of a separation, through, we'll use the word trauma, that's very popularized in today's world. But a lot of that is just created separation, we'll say, in the consciousness, or unprocessed emotions, unprocessed experiences. And so when we can start to heal that, or release that, or resolve that, accept it all, and bring it into wholeness again, then I've lost my trail of thought a little bit. I talked about coming back into trust. I think this is where it can be. The reason I'm saying this actually is because it's easy to say, well, come back and trust the feeling body. But then for some people, they may have it can be a journey to come back into the body. And I guess that's where yoga, or, like embodiment practices can really help with that, to come back in and to be able to discern what is true feeling, and what is an emotional story. So, there is a journey there to kind of unfold that. And again, we all have to walk our path with that. So, trusting your heart as best as you can, or at least trusting what shines out for you. What, it's getting to trust. Actually, let me share this quote, because I think this is so helpful and so profound. And it's one of Einstein's quote, where he said, the most important decision you will ever make is if the universe is a friendly place or a hostile place. And I feel like one of the things that helped me through the most challenging, turbulent, intense, chaotic times, especially in my younger life, where I felt lost and I felt overwhelmed, was something in me. Something in me was always looking for where there was a silver lining. And I feel like something in that is some deep faith or belief, or whatever you might call that the universe is a friendly place, and that whatever we're moving through has some greater purpose. And actually, I did have an experience one day in my childhood where I closed the bedroom door, because I was just so overwhelmed with what was going on around me, and I couldn't impact it, or I felt I couldn't impact. So I felt powerless, and I just quietly closed the bedroom door, probably in tears. And I just asked my heart, I was like, what's it all about? What's it all about? And what came was this bubbling up from my heart, is this awareness of one day you'll understand. One day it will give you great wisdom. It will help you connect to many people and help you relate to many people. And I didn't have the word compassion, but now I can use the word compassion. It'll help you have compassion. So often our greatest challenges is also our greatest teachers as well. So keep the faith and keep breathing. You know, to the audience, anyone who's going through lots of challenges, this too shall pass, and receive, you know, as much as you can, the support and the tools, and just be open. You know, it's the openness to receive, which I know can be really challenging as well for us to relearn. So we're in a big relearning, and it continues this evolutionary journey. So grateful for that.
Thank you, Mary Jo. I think that's a lovely way to come to a close to the interview. I understand, though, that you have perhaps a little gift you'd like to offer to our audience.
I do. The gift of gratitude.
The gift of gratitude.
Wow, thank you. My heart just feels so, grateful to be here with you and sharing these messages. So thank you so much for receiving. So yes, the gift I have for you to receive is around a 40-minute video, and it is going deeper into the practice of gratitude, the artful practice of gratitude. And so I really walk you through it, and I invite you to practice it along with me. And again, I talk about, you know, some of the places that we kind of can fall out a little bit, and how we can, you know, open up again to just this practice of gratitude. So I'd have to look at the video again myself to see what I covered, but yeah, it's about 40 minutes, and it feels, from what I did, it feels like it's pretty pretty in depth, you know, going into this topic of gratitude, and also like on a practical level, taking people through the process. So yeah, it's my joy to share that with you and to gift it to you. So that link will be underneath wherever this conversation is.
Very good.
Thank you so much to our audience. Thank you so much to you, Mary Jo. Have you got just one final little gem of wisdom that you would like to leave everybody with?
Yes. I want to go to this topic of worthiness. You are worthy to receive. You are worthy to receive the gift of gratitude in your life, the practice of gratitude. You are worthy to breathe deeply and expand your lungs and capacity to receive your breath, to receive life, and to exhale out that which doesn't serve your life, that is complete, and to let it go with greater ease and greater grace and allowing. And you are worthy to receive the abundant energies of the universe, to let it in, because that's really what it's about now, and letting go of that which is complete on many layers. So I share the gift of gratitude, and I share the gift of being worthy, because this is a big topic. It's a big element that I've been navigating my whole life, and even in this trip that I'm on these latter months, to really release the sense of unworthiness or undeserving, to receive more gracefully and uneasily. So I share that gift with you, the audience, and whoever receives this, and just to claim for yourself, I am worthy, I am enough, I am a grateful heart, and so it is.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.